Good morning, Donatella, and welcome again to our gallery.
Good morning.
Today, your interviewer will be our really young intern who has some questions about Caffe Roma.
Good morning, Donatella. Can you tell us first how this love for Caffe Roma began?
It was a love at first sight, even if from that moment I knew that it would be very difficult. Indeed, it took me a long time to finish it. So, at first sight, as I saw this image, I fell in love with the image. And I think the same thing could happen to people. They could feel something for this image, mainly for this girl sitting at this window while drinking a coffee, I guess.
Very interesting. And would you like to explain how hard it was doing all the rafflings on the windows?
Well, the most complex part about this painting was this corner on the right. The window on the right that contains the writings of the window Caffe Roma, but also all the image reflected in other window, because it is a corner showcase. And so the whole corner is a game for of mirrors. There are reflexes and reflexes of reflexes.
And what about this door?
So this is a door with ornamental metal bars, a frieze on the door, and that also protects the glass. On one side they have only friezes, on the right side of the doors is more complicated because it has not only friezes and vertical bars, but also horizontal bars and other short bars inside.
And what about the stain on the bottom?
These stains represent the passing of time, and that takes off the painting from this door. The stains are made partly with the brush and partly stretching the color to create like a shadow on the door.
Thanks. What about the writing on the blackboard?
They were quite complicated to do because they are diagonal and very small, so I painted them many times. This cone was difficult to sketch too, and another complicated thing was the grid under the blackboard because it has these rust stains scattered higher and tighter, and so for this reason it was quite complicated.
Were the small objects on the left window easy to paint?
Doing the objects is always very funny because from the picture it is not always so easy to understand what object we are dealing with. Sometimes I paint something and say, who knows what this will be? Sometimes they are clear, like in this window, where every object is quite clear. There is also a small car snuck in. If you pay attention, you can discover a lot of details. The most complicated thing to do was the writing the Wanderer because I couldn't write very well with the brush in that space. There is also a gnome that in America is very famous. You can recognize him because of the green jacket. There is also a turkey and a photograph with lots of people inside. I think a reunion or a souvenir picture. Then there are flowers here and there and some cartels, not always understandable. The more difficult cartel was Happy Thanksgiving. Indeed, there is this turkey under the writing, you see? Because in this teeny space I couldn't paint easily too.
Do you want to add something more?
Yes, it was very nice to be able to paint this man who is entering the bar. At first, I didn't understand that these two people were not at the same table. She is sitting alone, drinking, and he is a bit further away. Here, on the front, there is also a woman with a stroller, and there is a little girl with a red hat and a coat with a white fur. Is not clear. Here there is a man dressed up as a sailor and a woman walking by. You don't see her because she is pushing up the stroller.
Very interesting. Goodbye, Donatella, and thank you.
Goodbye. See you for the next painting.